What I want to do is open up the floor. We're going to do like a Q&A now. As I said, you can ask any questions. You can ask any questions you want about AFTV. You can ask any questions you want about Arsenal this season. The season's gone by. Can Arsenal get into the top 4? Even if you want to ask some questions about just the Premier League in general. We're at every single game. We've been to every single ground. You know, I think we know most teams inside out. We can answer those questions as well. If you want to ask questions about some of the players, you want to put questions to any of these guys individually. First gentleman there. I know, I was chatting to you earlier, I know this gentleman's come all the way from Abu Dhabi. So, thanks for coming.
Really, well, thank you very much for your great effort and what you are doing for the club. It all translates about the image of Arsenal club. And Arsenal club is a very big club, and it's a club which has got a very big history. It's not a club which made by money, like other clubs. We know them, like Chelsea, or who don't have a history, you know. So
Banta FC.
Well, it's known that the history of Arsenal, you see, and how it's found, and that's why we are proud of that club. You know, since I was young, I was a fan of Arsenal, and all my family are Arsenal fans, and I'm proud for that. And all they live in England. For all my kids, all they attend the game. Anyway, my question is this now. I hope we win the Europa League as a trophy, and also we go for Champions League and above Tottenham all. So, what is your expectation? How can we prove that? How can we reach that level? You know.
Okay, yeah. I'll answer it first, and then I'll get these guys to answer it as well. Can we win the Europa League? Yes, we can. I think. I do think we can win it. Of course, we got Napoli in the next round. I remember we were doing the draw. Me and DT was there, and we were like, all along, we go, please don't get Napoli, please, please, please. We don't want Napoli. The team we don't want to. We'll have that team, we'll have that team, and not Napoli. And then first thing that comes out, Arsenal versus Napoli. We're like, oh. Right. So listen, it's the hardest possible draw. They're the best team left in it, but I think Napoli are as scared as us as we are as them. I think I saw Napoli when they were playing against Liverpool in the Champions League, and I wasn't overly impressed. And I think Arsenal are starting to hit form now. Again, we've got a lot of players back that were injured, and I do think over 2 legs we can beat Napoli. But I think the first game, when we play them at home, is very important. We really need to, I think, put in a big performance in that game. Keep a clean sheet if possible, which has been our Achilles heel. If we can do that, we can beat Napoli. But I think our best route into the top 4 this season is going to be in the Premier League. I've looked at our running. If we can sort out our away form, I think we can get 4th, possibly even 3rd. What do you think, DT?
In relation to the Europa League, I'm not worried about playing Napoli. We're Arsenal Football Club. Why should we be worrying about anyone else? Honestly, I see a lot of fans saying, we got to get back in the Champions League. We must get back in the Champions League. And the moment we draw Napoli, they start shitting themselves. It's like, come on, these are the kind of games you want. We want big games like this. So go there with the right
We didn't want it yet, though.
No, you got to play them at some point. You got to play them at some point. And the way the draws panned out, we could get Chelsea in the final, and it would be quite nice travelling all the way to Baku and watching them cry. So, and, you know, we've got a good record against Chelsea in finals. So go there with the right mindset, play the way we have been over the last couple of games, and we'll be fine. And in terms of the Premier League, I don't want 4th, I want 3rd.
Okay, okay. Troopz?
I think we can do both. I think we can win the Europa League and get 3rd blood. You understand? Because when we beat Napoli, you understand?
Confident?
Well, I didn't want them, blood. You understand? But it's true what DT said. They didn't want us as well, blood. You understand? They're probably looking on there like, raw. This is a tough tie, you understand? Because our home form is good. You understand? All we got to do is go over there, get an away goal, come back and call them at Emirates.
It's the away form, innit? Because
Yeah.
you guys, you've been at all the games in the Europa League, and our away form has been poor. Look at the game against Rennes. We go and play like that against Napoli, we'll get turned over.
Yeah, we will do. But I look at the mindset of the players in the last couple of weeks. We went through a bit of a bad patch when we drew against Spurs. That says everything of how much we're improving, that we're disappointed to draw against Spurs. Because we should have slapped them. Let's be honest about it. We should have put them back in their shadow. Don't get me started on that club, because you might not like my language. And I know you can get arrested for certain language over in this country. But let's just, look, Robbie, man, let's just stop worrying about other people and worry about ourselves. We've got some serious players in our team.
Okay.
Napoli are going to look at the likes of Lacazette and Aubameyang and Ozil and Granit Xhaka, and they're going to be panicking. They will be.
Okay. Well, and also just to add to that, when we was talking to Lacazette last night, he actually said the same thing what DT just said. He goes, I don't want fourth, I want third. That's what that's what Lacazette said to us in this room last night. So
see,
let's hope. I sensed when we was talking to Lacazette, I sensed the determination in him that they want to finish the season really strongly. So let's hope that comes true. Would it get the next question?
Yeah, sure. So
If you say your name and where you come from as well, that'd be great.
Sure. So my name is Faisal Ali. I came over from Abu Dhabi, but I'm from Iraq. What I'd like to know is, what is your relationship like with Arsenal Football Club itself? What type of conversations have you had with them? DT is laughing already. Maybe the conversation aren't good.
I'm going. See you later.
So yeah, basically, I'd like to know, what type of conversations have you had with them? What is the relationship like? That's basically it.
The relationship with Arsenal, I think it's mixed. I think, listen, I think when we first started doing the channel, I don't think some of the officials there at the club really liked us. They were like, you got to understand, Arsenal, and not just Arsenal, Premier League clubs are very protective of their club, their brand, their players. Their policy is nothing negative about the club. Even when it's negative, it's like nothing negative. And then we came in and we allowed fans, as I said, to have their honest opinion. So if we'd just been beaten 5-1 by Bayern Munich, the fans were going to say it as it is. They weren't going to sugarcoat it. And I don't think Arsenal Football Club really liked that. I have to say, though, that as years have gone by, I think they've embraced it more. I have spoken to, and on many occasions, some of the officials there. And, even when Gazidis was there, I remember I was speaking to him one time out in LA, and he said, I like what you do, whether he was saying being honest with me or not, because he's very skilled, that guy, he's like a politician. But he said to me, he goes, listen, I like what you guys do. You give fans a chance to have their say. I know sometimes it can be negative about the club, but I feel that, you guys do it in a very professional way. So he goes, we're cool with you guys, you know what I mean? And I've not really had any problems with them. I think they would like us probably to be more always positive. But I think, we kind of exist together now. And I don't think they really have much of a problem with us. They see us all the time. They've even been helpful to us sometimes. We've been abroad at games where we've struggled. Like a lot of times you go to games in Europe, and it can be a struggle to get your equipment into grounds and stuff like that. And Arsenal officials have helped us. Have gone up to the people at the clubs there and said, no, these guys are all right. They're not going to film inside the ground. They're professional. They're not going to be a problem. So I have to say, I feel that in the early days, probably they weren't the greatest fans of us, but I think now they're okay with us. But I'd still love them to give us more access to players and stuff like that. But again, as I said, it's not just Arsenal. Football clubs are so protective. I mean, funny enough, like when they come to places like, Dubai, you guys will have more access to Arsenal players than what fans in England would. Because in England, they just keep them strictly away from the fans. And I'm always saying to the officials at Arsenal that I think they're making a mistake with that. We're living in an era now of social media. Of course, you have to be protective because things can make it into the newspapers, etc. But then you also have to embrace it as well. And sometimes you have to embrace the negativity. I remember Mesut Ozil came out one time. There was a game that, I can't remember the exact game, but we got beat. And fans were angry. And Ozil, I remember he posted a thing on Instagram where he said, listen, sorry to the fans. We were really disappointed in the performance, but for the next game, we're going to work harder. And that just killed a lot of the negativity. He didn't ignore it. He didn't try and pretend like nothing had happened. He was like, yeah, listen, guys, we're hurting as well. And I think sometimes as fans, that's what we just want to know, that our players and our club care as much as we do. Because when you've like driven 4 or 5 hours to a game and seen a terrible performance and players just walk straight off the pitch and it just appears that they don't care, that's when you really feel it. So I think the relationship is, you know, I'm just talking from a broad point of view at AFTV, is a lot better now than what it was. And I think, yeah, it's okay. It's not brilliant, but it's okay. You want next question?
Good evening, gentlemen. It's quite an honor to have you here. Welcome to Arabia. Welcome to UAE and Dubai. Actually, I have a question and a request, please. My question is that transfer budget, the lousy 50 mil, is that cemented or is there a chance that that changes from now till the transfer window? And my request is, I've got my son Kamal here, who's 12. I would say he's Arsenal's biggest fan of his age. And the management were nice enough to allow us in because he's not allowed in just for 2 minutes to take a picture. But the minute we walked in, you guys opened the discussion. So is there a chance, and please excuse me everybody, just for 5 seconds so you can take a picture because they just asked me to leave.
Of course, of course.
Of course you can.
Of course, we'll do that first, and then DT, you can answer that question on the
cheers for that.
On the transfer. We'll all answer the question on the transfer budget. On that transfer budget, DT, I'll get you to. We could be here all night on this one.
Here we go.
I'll get DT to answer that one first.
If he only spends £50 million, then another banner's coming out. It's as simple as that. The Stan Kroenke one. Listen, a lot of what gets said in terms of 50 million is media rubbish. They know that talking about Arsenal gives clicks. The moment you say something negative, the first thing you do is click the article. They've got what they want. We will get more money if we get in the Champions League in comparison to being in the Europa League. But there's no way there's only £50 million to spend. No way.
But in the summer, DT, yeah, there was only, remember then, there was just over £50 million to spend. And you know, that was a new manager coming in. And we was thinking to ourselves, he's going to get a budget to buy...
No.
And he literally got a pittance.
No. Do you know what the difference is? Because it was Emery's first season, everyone was starting on a level playing field. Everyone was given 1 year to show the manager that they were good enough to play for Arsenal Football Club. So in terms of budget, he had to strengthen in a few areas that he felt needed strengthening regardless. And then he's going to look at some players and say, right, show me what you can do.
Fulham had a bigger budget.
And Fulham are being relegated.
Yeah, but it's not. That's not the point of it.
Well, it is the point. Because no. Because
you've got to give the manager...
No, listen. Look, I'm going to take the mic off you in a
minute. Here we go.
Right? At the end of the day, right, it just shows that having a big budget doesn't always work, right? You look at our best performers this season are some of our new signings. Bern Leno, £19 million. Now, when you compare him to how much Chelsea paid for their goalkeeper, he doesn't even want to get substituted. You know what I mean? So think about that one. You got Torreira. Okay, he's boiled off a little bit, where he's getting the adaptation to the first league and everything else. But he's been an absolute steal. Guendouzi. How many of us, when he was being signed, were like, oh, who's this from the lower leagues of the French divisions and looks like Sideshow Bob and, you know, these are some of our best players this season.
They have been, but I disagree with you when you say
there's a surprise.
You know, we had a new manager come in, right? This is my personal opinion now, right? And those have been some great signings that have, you know, they've been brilliant. But what do we want? Do we want to win the league? Right? That's what I want to do. I want us to be challenging to win the league. Okay. And you cannot give a manager £50 million, right? And expect him to compete with teams like Manchester City and Liverpool with the players that they've got. We've got some very, very good players at Arsenal. And I just look at it, I was like, give the manager like £150 million. Give him a budget where you can go out and buy, as well as your Guendouzi's and Torreiras and guys like that, but you can buy 2 proven quality, world-class players that you can add to that team. So, like, for instance, for me, Arsenal are crying out for a world-class defender, centre-back, commanding, who's like in a similar vein to what Virgil van Dijk, you saw what Liverpool have done. Van Dijk has literally come in and fixed their defensive problems, right? That's what Arsenal need. And if they're going to give the manager a budget like that, this is Arsenal Football Club. Like somebody said earlier, this is Arsenal, right? How are we giving the manager, I mean, I don't know what you think about it, Troopz, but how are we giving our manager such a small budget when it's Arsenal Football Club, 60,000 fans every week, the highest ticket prices in England, the most expensive team to go and watch is Arsenal, right? Why are Fulham? Right, he's got a ground that holds about 30,000. It's about 200 years old, the ground, right? Why are Fulham, their manager got double our manager's budget? It's ridiculous.
I think it was a disgrace, blood, because it just seems like they're trying to set him up to fail. You understand? Because the man's worked wonders, blood, with what he's got. You understand? It's like he's got his hands tied behind his back, blood. The improvement that he's brought to this club is mad. You look at Iwobi. You understand? Bear man were on his neck last year. Some people still have an agenda on him. But for me, he's the most improved player in the club, blood. Bellerin's another one, blood. You understand? Solid at the back, blood. You get me? Xhaka as well. I'll be real with it, bro. He's still at Ham Road, though. You understand? Let's get that in. Nah, but Xhaka, like, when he's not in the midfield, you see that we miss him. You understand? But we do need a proper centre-back. We do need a Koulibaly. You understand? We should knock out Napoli. You get me? I don't even think they're going to get Champions League this year in the league. I don't know how their form is. Are they second? Yeah, they're second. So they will get we have to get Champions League, blood. You understand? We need to go for people like Koulibaly, Wan-Bissaka. I think he will improve the club. You understand? Because then you could put. But
you're naming all those names out, and we know. Let's be honest, right now, sat here in this room, we know we ain't getting no Koulibaly. Yeah.
Who thought we get? Who thought we get Aubameyang?
Everybody in this room, be honest. We're not going to get Koulibaly.
Who thought we'd get Aubameyang? No one.
True. We didn't think we'd get Aubameyang.
No one thought we'd get Aubameyang.
That's a fair point.
You understand? Look how much. Look, that's 50-something million in January.
A lot of times those buys seems to come on the end of some sort of panic. So remember how when we got Aubameyang is because of the whole Alexis Sanchez thing.
Yeah.
They were running around panicking. They were worried about the backlash from the fans. You know, I just think to myself, it shouldn't need a backlash for the manager to get a good budget to go out there and get the type of players that he needs. This is Arsenal. Like you said it earlier, DT, this is Arsenal. And, you know, the manager's got to be given a big budget, I feel, to enable him to... We've got to compete. If we want to win that league, it's Man City and Liverpool, those teams we need to compete with.
I feel that we need to give them this season before we start doing what I used to do. We need to give them a season. We need to show the club that we can fully back every single person there. And you know what? Some of us that have been the most vocal are the ones that are actually backing the manager and backing the players. You know, and I just feel that this summer is so crucial for the next few years of Arsenal. Okay. It is. And I said to you from the very beginning, Robbie, I'm going to give him this season. Not Emery, because he's proved himself to me already. I can see what that man can do. But the owners, this summer, there's no excuses. There's no World Cup. There's no Euros. There's no distractions. if we get in the Champions League, you then add to that the brand new Emirates deal for the shirts, the stadium. Then you add to that the Adidas deal. There's no excuse to not go out there and buy the players that are needed. If they don't, then they're going to hear about it first on AFTV.
Ooh. Right. All right. Let's take another question.
I have a question for DT.
Oh no!
So basically,
before he asks you, he's Afsal's friend. Yeah.
Oh, Afsal messaged me yesterday.
Yeah. That's the.
Yeah. So my question for DT is, what do you think of Unai Emery this season? I mean, the first 5 games we didn't start well. He wanted to try and adapt his style of play from the back, and that's Arsenal's weakest position, from the back. Yep. And then we saw him go on a 20-game unbeaten run, which was good, and everyone was like, Unai, you know? And then we saw that we started losing again. So my question to you is, what do you think of Unai Emery, and what do you think he can do going forward next season? And how has he impressed you this season? Because he hasn't impressed me at all. Thank you.
Woo! 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 Thanks for throwing that one to me. Right. Let me break this one down for you. Right. He's taken over an institution. 22 years of one man. It's not just the manager we've changed. We've changed the whole entire backroom staff. On top of that, Arsene Wenger wasted a lot of our money on buying shit. Nearly 40 million pound on Mustafi.
35 on Xhaka.
Hey, listen, Xhaka's one of our most important players this season.
No, I know.
So let's get that one right. But from 2013, we had money. Money was wasted. He's now having to repair half of the damage that was done. Add to that the injuries we've had this season in key areas. Hector Bellerin, we've got no backup plan to Hector Bellerin. Lichtstein has not been good enough. Maitland-Niles has only in the last couple of games started to look like he may now actually want the position as well. Jenkinson, he gets paid to be a fan. You may as well just give me the right back slot. I had pictures of players on my bedroom wall when I was a kid. He's had to deal with the Mesut Ozil situation, which looks like he's got it under control now. And what he's done is that he's never changed his philosophy of how he wants to play. Because if he says to the players from minute one, this is my style, this is what you need to do, and then some of them don't really get it, and he says, all right, you know what, I'm going to change it for you. Then the players walk all over the manager. They control the manager. You lose the dressing room. Let's take Chelsea, for example. We can all see that there's players that do not want to play for Sarri. You name me one player, even Mesut Ozil, that doesn't want to play for Unai Emery. Because it's very clear that every single person does. We're over 12 points better off than last season. Our home form, only Manchester City have beaten us at home. Every point in a season, there's going to be games where you don't play great. You might have a dip. It's how you come out at the other end. I've been watching Arsenal a long time, and this is the first time in years, more than 10 years, where I can say that come March, April time, this is the fittest we've looked as a team. We look stronger, we look sharper. Everyone's playing with a smile on their face. If Unai hasn't impressed you, I think you need help.
No, you know what? To be fair, I wanted to. I don't know if you still got the mic, because I wanted to find out. Yeah, lend him your mic there a second, there, Troopz, because I just wanted to find out why you felt that Unai Emery's not been very good this season.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, actually, like I said, we started really poor the first 5-6 games. Then we went on an unbeaten run of 20 games, and the thing is, he wasn't consistent after that, you know? I wanted to see him, like, challenge for the second place. Because, like, if you see so many teams dropped points, Man City, Liverpool, Tottenham, and the points difference between Tottenham and Arsenal was 10 points. And now it's 1 point. But I feel that we could have challenged for the second place. And
do you think there was, you know, you got to look at the two teams in first and second place. At the moment, I think they're way above everybody. And as I said, sort of going back to the question the previous question, he didn't really have a budget to bring in the players to bridge that gap. So did you really expect him to be above Liverpool or near to City?
No. To be honest, no. I'm happy with the top 4, but what I'm saying is that I haven't seen anything different from the previous seasons. You know, like, I mean, there's not much change. I mean, we'd always finish top 4. So I wanted to see.
We didn't last year.
Can I just say that
I wanted to see what can Unai bring to the club that Arsene hasn't been given.
Right. Firstly, Arsene was given every bit of support that he needed from 2013. He was allowed to go and spend nearly £50 million on Mesut Ozil. He was allowed to go and buy Lacazette and Aubameyang. He was given a budget. Once we'd got over the first move to the stadium, but a lot of that money was wasted. We're now having to repair the damage. When Unai come in, there were 2 people on a 3-person panel that picked Unai to be manager. 2 of those people have left already. Within 6 months of Unai Emery being manager, Ivan Gazidis is pissed off to AC Milan. And what's his name? I can't remember his name. Mislintat. He's gone. So 2 people that he was close to and brought him to Arsenal have gone already. Now, if you compare first seasons with the clubs you're mentioning, Unai Emery has more points at this point in his first season than Jurgen Klopp did with Liverpool, than Pochettino did with Spurs, Chelsea, and he's level with Pep Guardiola. Now, Pep Guardiola in his first season finished 3rd. I remember them playing teams like Everton and losing 4-0. But he was given the first season to look at the players that he had. Right, I'll keep, you're in the bin, and we go again from the second season.
He was also given a big budget.
Yes, he was given a big budget.
Just my main disappointment actually in Unai, I want your thoughts on it, is that he didn't keep Wilshere at the club. And the second thing is he's let Ramsey go for free, our best player in the last 5 seasons. He's let him go to Juventus for free. So
right, the 2 things with there, Jack Wilshere, I love Jack Wilshere. On a personal level, he is the closest thing you will find to being Mr. Arsenal since Tony Adams. He loves the club. It's as simple as that. But his injuries have ruined him. There's a reason why he don't play for West Ham right now. Because he's injured. He's having more scans to determine what's wrong with him again. We cannot keep paying players who do not contribute to the club.
What about Ramsey then, like the gentleman said?
I will get onto that if you would just be quiet for it. Yeah, all right.
We need to move things along.
Oh, right. Since you'd had the intro like Mo.
Let's ask the question that he asked.
Should I just leave you 2 to do this?
The question that he asked about Ramsey.
I'm going to get to that. All right, thank you. All right, yeah, that's cool. Right, relax. Right, so with Aaron Ramsey...
That's what I have to deal with.
No, that's what I have to deal with. Look, the thing is with Aaron Ramsey, the offer was on the table. He tried holding the club to ransom. Or his agent did. He tried doing the same tactic that Mesut Ozil done. The difference is Mesut Ozil commercially is a bigger marketable player than Aaron Ramsey will ever be. And like it or not, in this day and age with football, it also, the market side of things is massive. When the new shirt comes out in summer and there's 2 queues, Aaron Ramsey or Mesut Ozil, what will be the biggest queue to have the name and number on the back of the shirt? Mesut Ozil. So I'm gutted that he's going. But it is what it is. We're Arsenal Football Club.
Is it a mistake?
When you look at the way he's playing, yeah, it is. And, you know, I don't know whether they can rip the contract up or whatever. I don't know if it's legally binding or it's too late or, you know. But, look, it is what it is. We've lost bigger players than Aaron Ramsey.
Okay, let's move on to the next question.
Yeah, evening, gents.
Evening.
Thanks for coming, like all the rest of them have said. My question's around Ozil, which is it divides a lot of opinions, and I know DT's just touched upon it. There's no doubting that the guy's got natural ability. He's the closest we've come since, I suppose, Dennis Bergkamp. I mean, he's given us some unbelievable moments in football. consistency is a problem with him, as we all know. 6, 7 games, plays one good game, all of a sudden he's on the front of the tabloids and newspapers. We've got him back, and then he goes back to normal. 350 grand a week for a player that does that once every 7 games. Do you keep him, or do you cash in on him?
Troopz?
I'd sell.
Why?
Because what are you bringing to the club, blood? What do? You're the Lynch man. You're supposed to be the Ronaldo, the Messi, the Mbappe. When shit's going wrong, you get the man them to go. You grab the game by the scruff of the neck. He can't do that, blood. I love Ozil. He's done madness, blood. Hella madness. But for me, he don't fit Emery's style. We need runners. He don't run. We press. He don't press. He can't fit into this style of play, fam. We have to sell him, bro. 350 grand is a joke.
Agreed.
An absolute joke, blood.
DT? I know DT's a big fan of Ozil. What's your opinion on it?
Well, if he leaves Arsenal, he can come and play for DTFC. Hey!
Banter FC.
I'll have him. Don't you worry. There'll be banter when he gets... We'll see what's going to happen.
But what do you make it? What he said there, he don't run, he don't press, he don't suit the style of play for Unai Emery. He's got a point, hasn't he?
Right. Over the last month or so, it looks like he's sorted out his problems with Unai. One of the hardest working players over the last 2 games against Rennes and Manchester United was Mesut Ozil. He put a shift in. What are you pulling up?
I don't know what game you was watching, fam.
Yeah, listen, he put a shift in those games. Just because he doesn't create a chance or he didn't get an assist doesn't mean he has a poor game. Like, if Aubameyang don't score or Lacazette don't score, doesn't mean they had a poor game. Look at the bigger picture. Over the last couple of games, obviously he's doing something right in training because Emery's playing him. He's played him in huge games. Games that could define our season. Manchester United and Rennes. Huge games.
Does he justify his wages?
Not at the moment still, no. He's still got to do more. If he can keep doing what he's been doing this last month to the remainder of this season, get us 3rd place, win us the Europa League, then you've got to say he's justified for this season. But he's got to do the work.
Okay, thanks for that question. You know what, just before the next person answers a question, I get a show of hands on this, because it does divide opinion. All those who think that Ozil should stay, and all those who think he should leave. Wow, see that? That's what I mean. It's about half and half, isn't it? Really divides opinion. Okay, thanks for that question. The next question?
Yeah, Robbie, I'm from India, settled in
God
Dubai.
for that.
Thanks for the international fan reaction video that you started. I was the one to give the first video on that. So somewhere I felt I could voice out my opinions along with watching your videos after every match. So my question is simple. Now we have Socrates who's injured. He's injured, and it's like in India we have a saying, okay, as an Arsenal fan, it's the hope that kills you. So whenever we have that hope coming high that we're going to do something and something goes wrong all the time. So with Socrates injured, do you think our defense, the makeshift defense that we have right now, is good enough against Napoli? And he's out for a month. So all our crucial matches, we're going to miss him. So what do you think is the impact? And our defense, you know, right? How is it?
I didn't realise it was out for a month.
I never knew.
Yeah.
What's going on?
What happened?
What's happened? I
I
don't know
blood.
either.
Swear down.
No,
Where's Socrates injured? What's going on here?
What, did he get injured for Greece? International? Oh, shit.
Oh, mate, I'm about to jump over the edge of that building. Oh, my God, you just ruined my trip.
Oh, mate.
Mustafi for the next month. Yay! Oi, Mustafi's here, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right, we need to go and have a word with him before they go home.
Listen, if Socrates is injured for a month, he's been our best centre-half for most of this season. Although I would say since Koscielny's come in, past few weeks he's been excellent as well. But the Socrates-Koscielny partnership was starting to look like something that we were like, hey, that's decent. You know, that's looking good. So if that is true and Socrates is out for a month, that would be a huge blow, in my opinion, for Arsenal. And this goes back to what I'm saying about budgets and having that squad to cope with these sort of injuries, because it's going to happen. So if that's true, huge blow. Next question.
Pray for Arsenal.
Good evening, gents. My name is Niall, Irish Arsenal fan. My question surrounds the transfers in the summer. There's rumours over the weekend that Granit Xhaka may want to move on. Firstly, what would be your opinion on that one? And secondly, what do you reckon with Callum Chambers coming back from Fulham?
Troopz, I'll go for you first.
I didn't know Xhaka wanted to leave still. DT, did you know that?
There is a rumour. There is a rumour.
It's been taken out of context.
What did he say?
He just said about, you know, what most players say, that they've got ambition. And that Arsenal might not be his final destination if they don't match his ambition. So, if you're in a job and you're on basic wage, you want to better yourself. You want to have nice things. You want to earn more money. You want to be the best. What's wrong with a player wanting ambition? It's about time we had a player that wants ambition.
Yeah, I think that was kind of taken out of context still. But if he wants to leave, I'll open the door for his clout, you understand?
Nah.
Wide open, blood. See ya!
Me and you will be falling out over this.
And as for Callum Chambers, bro, you can stay in Fulham.
Do you know what? Granit Xhaka last season, I would have said I'd want him to leave as well. I thought he'd be... me and DT always arguing about him. DT loves Xhaka. I've always been saying, I don't know what this guy does. Is he a holding midfielder, attacking midfield? What is he? What does he do? This season, though, I have to say, he's been quite impressive this season. He's shown a lot of leadership qualities. He's been strong in that midfield. He still, though, for me, makes too many mistakes. Inexplicable mistakes when he's under no pressure. Will just sometimes just pass the ball to opposition player and put us under pressure. So he's still got that in his game. If he did say what he said, and I do think it looks like it has been taken a bit out of context, but how about he show a bit of ambition at Arsenal? He's at a very big club right now. Be ambitious to push Arsenal on to win the league or to do something like that. So I'm surprised he's talking in that way. I think that Arsenal's been very good to him, because if we're being honest, the past couple of seasons, or since he's been there up until this season, he's not lived up to the reputation that he had when he came. He was bought for a lot of money, and so far he's not lived up to that, in my opinion. You know, he's having a good season this year, but the previous seasons have been poor, in my opinion. Will you get the next question?
Hello. Right. Hello, gentlemen. I'm from the East End of London, but I was born in North London, so I've been here for about 7 years, but I've got 2 cheeky questions for you.
All right.
First one.
Sorry, can I stop you? I thought that was Kenny Ken.
Yeah, you cheeky. Anyway, 2 cheeky questions. Chris Hudson, does he get royalties from that video? Because it's gone haywire. People still watch that video. And 2, is DT going to donate that banner to the Arsenal Museum?
Well, I'll answer. He could answer the banner one, but the question one: no, he doesn't get royalties. No fan that gets interviewed at games. We don't pay any fan for that. That's just a fan just coming and giving their opinion. So, unfortunately for him, he doesn't get royalties off that. But he's a really good guy. Is Chris? He's a guy. He is the most diehard Arsenal fan you will ever meet. And he gets very stressed out over the transfer window. He'll be texting me, Robbie, you see what's happened? Why are we not signing this? Why is he? He's brilliant. I love Chris Hudson. The banner, you donating it to the museum?
If they want it, they can have it. That's a part of our history now. They could maybe pull it in the time capsule they got in the Emirates with all the rest of the stuff from, you know. But I don't know, maybe it's, do you know what? It's still in my house. It's actually in my bedroom. I did want to pull it above the bed, but I was told no. But I was thinking about taking it to the very last game of the season and folding it in half. So it just said, thanks, Arsenal. You know, thanks for the memories, not the goodbye bit. But I don't know, maybe eventually I might get rid of it and see who wants to buy it. And I'll give the money to charity.
Were you too hard on Arsene Wenger?
No.
Were you sometimes too... I don't know what the word to use, but too harsh on a manager that had done so much for this club over the years?
Do you know what? The hardest thing that I ever did was pull out the banner and do what I had to do. But we're Arsenal Football Club, not Arsenal Football Club. So my first thoughts were, we are going backwards under this manager. Every season, we are getting progressively worse. Every year. And there comes a point where you have to stand up and voice your opinion. You have to, say what you believe in. And the club weren't listening to us. Stan Kroenke weren't listening to us. We were having poor seasons, and he was being given a pay rise and a new contract. So at what point, as a fan, do you sit there and say, well, hold on a minute, I need the club to see we're not happy? Because the way it was going, the club are like, well, everyone's happy. Top 4, the odd FA Cup. Yeah, everything's lovely. Give him a contract. Put him on £10 million a year. But we had to go and voice our opinion. And then eventually the club sat there and went, do you know what? They're not happy. And the biggest point was not me, not the banners, empty seats. When there was 25, 30,000 people turning up. And there was more red seats than fans. And then the media started reporting it. That's when it changed. That's when they had to look at it and say, we need to get rid of him now. Because he was sacked. He never left, he was sacked.
Okay, next question. We got next question.
Hi, Robbie, you already know who I am, but...
Yeah, Mahmood, how you doing?
Yeah, Mahmoud from Dubai. Well, as you were talking about Xhaka, I always tell my friends, I've never seen a player who's so talented but so shit at the same time. Really, it's and he's not the only one.
My guy.
He's not the only one. I remember watching Mustafi as well before he joined the club, and he was quite good at Valencia. He was quite good for Germany, and it's the same thing with Kolasinac as well. I mean, he's picked up form, but it seems like these players come in with a lot of talent, and then they just sort of lose their way. If you remember Bellerin at one point when he first broke through, he was very talented and then he just lost his way. So they're up and down all the time. And I think a lot of that has to do with Arsene Wenger. And yeah, it's to do with Arsene Wenger. He became soft. He became soft. And I don't remember that from the early Wenger sides. I mean, I started supporting the club in '97 when Wenger came. So I've been watching him throughout. I don't know Arsenal without Arsene Wenger. So I could see that transition and something changed. Something changed in that process. But for me, I'm very happy with Unai Emery. And I don't think you could judge him because he's new. This is Wenger's team. This is Wenger's team. Mustafi, the players that we criticize, Xhaka. This is Wenger's team. Aubameyang was new. We should be very lucky that we actually got a player like Aubameyang in because we're setting our expectations too high, but we are a Europa League club. I mean, we're a big club. Look at the fan base. Look at where we are right now. I don't think Tottenham has a fan base like this in Dubai, I don't think so. So we're a huge club, but we're in the Europa League, and to finish 3rd, 4th, win the Europa League is a great accomplishment. That's the way I look at it. And I give him a lot of credit because I think the manager... There's one mistake, there's only one mistake he made for me, is that he started the season very intensely. He didn't anticipate, he doesn't know the Premier League. And it was the same mistake that Klopp made. It was the same mistake that Guardiola made as well. Very intense training, and then you could see they got tired. That's when we lost our form, the team got tired. But now they're picking up again, and they're playing well. My issue... It has nothing to do with the players. The players come and go. The manager looks good. My issue is the ownership, the upper management. There's absolutely nothing clear about where the club wants to go, and I don't know where we're going, and we could be going anywhere. Maybe this is the right team, the right manager that we have. It's too early to say. But what do you think, all of you guys? What do you think has to be done on a management level, on an ownership level, to bring change to Arsenal Football Club?
I'll go Troopz first.
For me, I think Kroenke needs to leave. If Kroenke goes, then we can progress. You understand? Because we had a man in the club called Usmanov who was willing to flood it. He was willing to put his own money in, take us back to where we belong, but he never got that. And Usmanov said that if he don't get Arsenal, his aim is to kill Arsenal. So he's trying to go to Everton because he's got a partner there. And if he goes Everton and goes there, it's a madness, blood. You understand? But I think as long as Kroenke's here, it's going to be hard for Emery. And I think Emery knew when he came that he was restricted. I think that's why the whole Allegri thing never happened. Because Allegri is probably a man that's like, yo, I want 200 million. I need a budget. These men are shit. I'm not giving no one a year. These men are dead. You understand? But I give Kroenke the summer. If you don't do nothing in the summer, it's game time.
DT?
I agree. Kroenke's got to go and back him. Emery has shown just how good he can be. Like the gentleman was saying, so many players were underperforming under Arsene Wenger. Hector Bellerin. What happened to the Hector Bellerin from when he burst on the scene? Granit Xhaka, Alex Iwobi. The list is endless. How many of those players are now performing this season? We're now losing Hector for the rest of the season and we're gutted about it. That was a year ago. We'd be cheering. Oh, thank God for that. There's the difference. So the owners now need to back Unai, just like they back their clubs in America.
Yeah, and I'd agree with that. You know, the main thing, my main problem with Kroenke is not even just the money. That obviously the money's important. I'd want to see him back in the club, but I just get the feeling sometimes that he don't care. I don't see an owner that really cares about the club in the same way that he cares about the LA Rams. When the LA Rams were going to the Super Bowl final, I saw interviews with him. You saw him holding up the trophy when they won the conference. You know what I mean? He seems really into them. Whereas at Arsenal, I mean, I've been to AGMs and I've seen him there. He doesn't even talk. You know, just to get, you know, he would have come all the way from the US for the AGM and they'll say to him, here's Stan, and he'll just get up and just say, hi guys, and he sits back down and that's it. And then even worse now that he owns the whole of a club, he doesn't even have to have an AGM no more. Because now he owns the whole club, so he doesn't have to be open with the things that he's doing with the money and with the finances, etc. And I just really question, does he really care? How many times a week does he wake up out of his bed and think about Arsenal Football Club? That's what that's my fear about the whole thing. Or is Arsenal just another one of his investments that, you know, let's have it right, is doing very well for him? Because when he bought it, it's worth double, nearly triple what he paid for it now. So that investment's going very well. So does he care? That's my main problem. I want an owner that cares about this club. When we lose, he feels it. And I'm not too sure if he feels it in the same way as when the LA Rams loses, and that's my problem with him at the moment.
And I loved it when the Rams lost.
Okay, so next question.
Yeah, over here.
Okay, yeah, we got you over there.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jake from England, living out here. So I just want to ask, one of Arsene Wenger's greatest achievements throughout his sort of reign was consistently being in the Champions League, but equally we never really seemed to progress into the later stages, you know, apart from when we lost to Barcelona. So my question is, sort of, let's assume that Stan Kroenke yet again doesn't invest the way he should, and considering the luck of the draw and all that, if Emery can get us back into the Champions League, do you think his effect alone as a manager can help to progress this same group of players into the later stages, or do you think ultimately the gap in talent and investment will still show with the bigger clubs in Europe?
The gap in talent will show if we're in the Champions League with this squad. Defensively, the gap in talent showed against Bate Borisov and Rennes, with all due respect to them. So you imagine what it's like coming up against Lionel Messi with Mustafi in your back line. We need to sort out the defence. I think one more player in midfield in terms of replacing Ramsey, a winger, and sort out the centre-backs. We can give anyone a game because we've got two of the best strikers in world football. And they're the reason why we're doing so well this season. They're the reason why we're looking to try and get third place as well. Them two.
Troopz?
I think the gap will show. Defensively, I agree with DT still. There's nothing more you can really say. I think he kind of banged it on the head, to be honest.
Yeah, listen, it goes back to what I was saying right at the start about investment. You know, you go into the Champions League and you come up against certain teams and they got Mbappe, Neymar, and all these sort of players, Griezmann, Diego Costa. You know, to compete with those teams, you've got to invest money, right? And £50 million, this is what I'm saying, is not going to get you competing with those teams, right? It's not even getting us competing at the moment with the teams in the Premier League. So we have to invest more money, or you're right, we could get into the top four, which is vital for us to be able to get better players. That's vital for the first step. But if we're truly ambitious about winning the Champions League, we have to spend a lot of money, to invest a lot of money in players. And that's what used to baffle me over the years with Arsene Wenger. I was like, there were seasons, that season I think when we bought Petr Cech, and that was all we bought. I'm like, and Arsene Wenger said, oh, well, I didn't see nobody else out there, so that's what, you know. And I sat there and I'm like, what do you want to do then? Because surely, Arsene Wenger, you're an intelligent guy, surely you know that you're not going to win the league or the Champions League with that team if you've not added better players. And if you don't add players, you're not going to, you know, we see it with, you know, I don't want to talk about them, but Tottenham, you see it with Tottenham, over the years, the last few years, they've been near to competing, haven't they, for the league?
They have been nowhere near competing.
Hold on.
They put the pressure on.
Hold on, let me make, they're bottle jobs, they are, but let me make the point that I'm saying. They've been near, they've been challenging for the league on a few seasons. How can you not then buy any players? That's what they've done, and expect to win the league. You've got no chance. And that's what they've done. They've not bought any players, and they're not going to win the league. So if you don't invest, you've got no chance. And that's the point that I'm making. We will just go into the Champions League if we don't invest and just be in it. But you've got to be in it to win it. The next question?
Here. Hi, my name is Saeed. I'm from Dubai. Since you guys go to all the games and you know the fan base over there, what I see from here is I feel that not the main reason, but a huge reason on why he left Aaron Ramsey is because I feel he never got the, not respect I would say, but he was never loved as much as like a Jack Wilshere. And I feel that Aaron Ramsey did so much for this club. Like he's won us 2 FA Cups almost. He's always shown up in big games. And to me, I would have put him captain at the beginning of the year. Personally, I believe that. But I just feel like, what's your opinion? Do you guys, can you tell me like...
Ask Troopz.
Do you know what? I think fans do love him. I don't think he got the same. He don't love him.
Holding actually calls him a ham roll.
Right, he used to call him a ham roll and stuff like that.
Aaron ham roll Ramsey.
I think that Aaron Ramsey is a loved player at the club. He didn't have the love that a Jack Wilshere had. No, you're right. But I think because Jack Wilshere is sort of grown up as an Arsenal player, whereas, you know, Ramsey came to the club from another club. So, you know, Jack Wilshere grew up in Arsenal, and that's why he's always had that extra. But fans loved Aaron Ramsey, and fans are disappointed that he's leaving, right? And I agree with you. I think he should have been made captain as well. You know, and I'm still baffled why we're letting him go. I know what DT was saying earlier about, you know, the amount of money and his agent. That's what agents do. That's what every agent's job is to do, is to get your player the best contract, right? And I think Aaron Ramsey deserves a good contract. And I think, you know, it's a big mistake to be letting a guy that is so experienced, that has won things for the club, right, leave. He should be the captain of Arsenal Football Club. I agree with you, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think.
I think Granit Xhaka will be captain.
If you compare what Ramsey's done for this club,
I know.
as I said, we've
been over it. We have been over it so many times in podcasts and everything else. And as much as there's things about Aaron Ramsey that annoys me, when he tries doing the little Hollywood flicks all the time and it doesn't come off, there's so much that he does give to the side. And it is, put it this way, this is the one decision that Unai Emery has to get right. If he brings a player in that goes and steps up a level to Aaron Ramsey next season, nobody will miss him. Nobody will question it. Everyone will say, right decision. But if he brings someone in and they don't do what Aaron Ramsey can, then questions will be asked.
Let me just say as well what I heard on the Aaron Ramsey situation, right, as well, is I heard that Unai Emery didn't really want to get rid of him, nor did but they almost like they've been forced to get rid of him, because if they don't, they will have such a limited budget in the summer, because it's by Ramsey going now, they've freed up wages, because a lot of us look on the transfer fees of players. But a lot of times it's the wages. Now, Arsenal have got a very high wage bill, and they're trying to get a lot of that wage bill gone, right? And obviously, they've already outlaid all this money on Mesut Ozil. He's not going nowhere. He's already said that he wants to stay. Why would he go? He's on 350 grand a week. Nobody's going to give him that at any other club, right? So he's not going, and it's a new contract, right? So they're looking on it. If we give Ramsey a big contract as well, we want to keep him. Wages-wise, we've done our budget literally. We won't really be able to bring much in. So that's why they've had to look on it and say we're going to have to let him go. But I don't think really in their hearts of hearts, I don't think Unai Emery really wanted to let Aaron Ramsey go, because he knows he's a very important player. And I think the biggest shame of the whole thing is that we now see that Ramsey and Ozil can actually play together over the past sort of few games. One of the things that I thought to myself at first, you can't really have the two of them in the same team. Unai Emery's got the two of them playing together now. So it's really, really sad for me. I would have loved to have seen Ramsey stay at the club. And I think he's going to be very hard to replace as well. I really do. But next question.
Hi, I'm Abu Bakr. I came all the way from Pakistan for this occasion.
Yo, big up Pakistan.
Yeah. So,
say something, Robbie, innit? I dare you. Say
we got to big him up, man. It's come all the way from Pakistan.
Big up Pakistan, blood, all day.
Thanks a lot.
Troopz claims to have some Pakistani blood in him.
Yeah, my dad.
Right, so he claims.
Hey, listen, just ask my mum, innit? You understand? Facts. You get me? Shout out Rafa. It's a fact.
So, first of all, I would like to thank you all for providing us this opportunity. I was worried I will not meet DT, because when I saw the team, Xhaka wasn't in the lineup that was coming to Dubai. So I was worried DT will not come. I even messaged him on Instagram that you have to come. So now getting to the point, well, I believe as an Arsenal fan, the most frustrating thing is to see sideways passing for 90 minutes. And that is something that we have been seeing in this season a lot. So, and knowing the fact that we have Lacazette and Aubameyang, such great players up front, we must have a few playmakers as well. We usually criticize that we don't have the best defense, we don't have great wingers, which is true. But I don't see why are we not getting to the point that we are lacking playmakers, knowing the fact that Ramsey is getting off, and also Ozil is not the first priority of Emery these days. So who can be a probable replacement for him next season? That's my question.
A playmaker replacement for Ramsey?
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to replace Ramsey with a like for like. I think what we're crying out for is a winger, more than anything. The one thing that Aubameyang thrives on is a winger. The one thing Lacazette likes, the ball in the box, first time, they can do their business. What we are crying out for is a winger. They're probably looking at it and saying, we've got the creative player in Mesut Ozil. What we need now is width. And that's what I feel is going to be a priority.
Do you think Ozil will be there next season? Do you think that come the summer they're going to be trying to get rid of him?
They can try and get rid of him, but he's made it very clear, and so has his agent, that he's going nowhere. And you can't force the man out. And because of his wage, it's not one of those situations where you can go, all right, we'll put you in the under-23s. Because they can't waste that kind of money. So you've got to use him.
If he said, all right, I'll go for it, would you get rid of him?
Given his age... yeah, I would.
Okay, what about you? A gentleman said a playmaker.
I'd rather get a centre-back. I think we got enough in midfield. Obviously, Xhaka staying. But we got Guendouzi, Torreira, Ainsley can play there.
When you compare that to, say, you look at Man City and the playmakers that they have in their midfield, You know, I think that's what the gentleman's sort of trying to get at. You know, you see guys like Bernardo Silva, David Silva, De Bruyne.
Bernardo Silva's a winger.
Right. Yeah, I know, but he can play in the middle of the park as well. That's where he played at Monaco, and he can be a playmaker. And then you look at Arsenal, apart from Ozil, is there any playmakers there?
Mkhitaryan. You're forgetting Mickey. Mickey's hit form right now. You understand?
Iwobi
stepped up. You understand?
And you say that, Robbie. Can I just say, you talk about Man City, but the team that are competing with Man City every step of the way this season are Liverpool. Now their centre midfield is James Milner. All right, people like that. Are you telling me that he's better than what we've got? Who's the guy that they brought in from Monaco?
Fabinho.
Is he better than Torreira? No. Behave yourself.
No, but hold on. Those, if you actually speak to any Liverpool, there's a Liverpool fan down there actually.
And he actually has champions on the back of his shirt. If this goes wrong, yeah, mate, you're pissed, blood, yeah? And I still want that picture at the end, yeah? I still want that, blood.
Have you learnt nothing over the last few years?
We don't let this slip. We don't let this slip.
But yeah, the thing is, Liverpool actually, you speak to Liverpool fans, that's one of the things they're critical of, the fact that they haven't got a playmaker in their midfield, and that's why they were trying to get Nabil Fekir.
Yeah, because they never replaced Coutinho.
Exactly, they were trying to get Nabil Fekir,
but they're competing with Man City. So what I'm saying is,
they are, but
if you've got a manager that can get the right balance, and I feel that if Emery just gets a couple of signings that he really wants, we can go up another step.
Okay, next question.
My name is Surya. I've come from Abu Dhabi. My question is, against Man United and Rennes, we played with the 3-4-1-2 formation and it worked out very well. Do you reckon we can continue in the same formation for the rest of the season? Because the team's very strong and very attacking in that form.
I love that formation, and I've got to say, I remember when we got to the game and we all saw the team sheet on that day. We saw the team. We were like, what is Unai Emery doing? You know, we thought that he was going to go pretty defensive in that game against Manchester United, and he didn't. He took it to them. He changed his formations a lot. I think that formation at home is great. I'd like to see him do that against Newcastle in the next game up. However, I think when we go away from home, I think maybe we might have to consider changing it up a bit. I mean, when you're coming up against teams away from home, you sometimes have to be a little bit more defensive. I don't know, maybe you could try going on the front foot against, say, at Everton. But it's a difficult one because we got a run in that is pretty favourable, but a lot of the games in that run in are away from home, and that has been our weakness this season, away from home. So we've got to find a way of winning those away games if we're to get into that top four. But I did like that formation at home. Next question.
My name is Sahir. I'm from Syria. First of all, I would like to thank you guys on behalf of Arsenal Syria Supporters Club for helping those guys who live and based in Syria, who didn't miss any match for Arsenal over those 7 or 8 years, regardless of the war or what's happening in Syria.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. I would like to touch points about what we've suffered last 10 years, I think. One of our big problems is about the captaincy. We don't have, we feel in the big games, again, whether in UEFA Champions League or in Premier League against top 6 teams, we feel that we don't have a true leader in the pitch, on the field. When you look at Liverpool, for example, they have Gerrard for 10 or 15 years. Even Chelsea, they have John Terry for 10 years. He's a true leader. We have a problem at this point. Every year we change the captain. If you look at the last 3 or 4 years, we have Mertesacker, who didn't play for entire the season, who played for 3 or 4 games. At the end, he won the FA Cup at the final against Chelsea. So I think this is one of the problem and the issue that Unai Emery has to solve, to find the true captain for Arsenal. I don't believe Xhaka is a true leader or he's a captain next captain for Arsenal. What do you think, guys, of this point?
Okay, that's a great point because sometimes we change captains every game, let alone every season.
Because yesterday...
I was going to ask you, Troopz, first.
Yeah, yesterday I was talking to Laka, innit? And he actually said he wants to be the captain. You understand? And I think he leads by example on the pitch. You get me? I think he's the kind of man that... I think he's our talisman. You get me? Everyone knows the bond I have with Abba. But for me, Laka is the one. You understand? Because his all-round game is mad. You understand? And his press, when he presses, he makes everyone go. He makes everyone go. He is a leader. He is a true leader. He's the only man that him or Socrates. It's out of them two. I don't think it can go anywhere else, blood. I think Xhaka, he has leadership skills, but he's too sloppy. Your captain has to be solid. You can't have a suspect captain. Xhaka is suspect. We have to be real. Laka and Socrates are solid. Proper leaders, you understand? So for me, I think it'd have to be one of them two.
DT?
Yeah, I agree with what Troopz is saying. I can't believe I'm saying that. No, I'd have Socrates as my captain because he's an absolute animal. And in terms of vice captain, I'd have Lacazette or Xhaka as there.
Is it just about things like that, though? Just being like, you know, you say, yeah, animal, but your leader has to be the person who also is able to keep a cool head. And we saw Socrates in that game, you know, against Bate Borisov, where he got himself sent off.
Oh, you mean the one where the player dived?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, one red.
The second yellow that he picked up, which was very stupid. Even he said
you say that.
No, he said himself.
No. I know that. But what I'm going to say to you is, one of our greatest ever captains is Patrick Vieira. How many times did he lose his head?
Come on.
Think about it. Even Tony Adams had his flaws.
So you give it to Socrates?
All day. The guy's a beast. He's a warrior. The guy makes a tackle and he celebrates like he's just scored a goal.
Yeah, you remember at Tottenham?
Do you know what I mean? The guy...
When he done the tackle and he went to us, come on! That's what you need, bro.
Exactly. You need that. And I think the players respect him as a leader. Just as much as they respect the likes of Xhaka and the likes of Lacazette.
I'd like to ask a gentleman, who do you think should be captain? You think Lacazette as well?
Like a blood clot set. My brother.
Okay, brilliant question. I respect all the fans there from Syria, Arsenal Syria fans as well.
Yeah, man, big up Syria.
Next question.
Hey guys, my name is Chuks. I'm from Nigeria. Shout out Kelechi.
Hey, my brother. Hey, my brother.
Hey, my brother.
So, you know, I just wanted to say, I actually miss some guys on the channel. I watch you guys every time. I live here. But I miss Butcher. I think his name is Butcher?
Bully.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Bully.
I miss Bully and I miss Chris, the other Chris. Not Hudson.
Salmon.
Yeah.
That one. We don't miss him. I don't miss him.
I miss Chris. I miss Chris. I like Chris.
I don't miss him.
But I'd like to ask two things. One, what's your government name? And two, that also goes for DT. What does DT mean? And then two, I'd like to know, for you, Robbie, what would you think would be a successful next 2 seasons for Unai Emery?
My government name is Troopz Hamilton. All you're getting is my surname.
And DT means DT.
DT means Donald Trump.
Yeah. Carry on, and I'm going to build a wall. Hey, maybe they need to yeah, maybe they need to get me as Arsenal manager, because look at the wall that I would build.
It would be mud.
It'd be the perfect wall. You'll never score past us.
A good season for Unai Emery over the next 2 seasons, I think. Listen, competing to win the league. That means not top 4, competing. Whether he wins it or not, I don't know, but I want him to be in the position like what we see Liverpool in with Jurgen Klopp at the moment, in that they're competing. They are pushing hard right down to the end of the season. Whether they win it or not, we don't know. Gentleman over there thinks they've already won it. He's got his shirt on. But whether they win it or not, we don't know. But what you've got to respect about them is that they are competing to win the league. Arsenal have not competed to win the league for a very, very long time. And for a club of our stature and our size, it's not good enough. So that's where I'd like to see. I think if Unai Emery's doing that over the next couple of years, he's successful. Because it's very hard to win the Premier League now with Manchester City. You know, the amount of money they've got. it's very hard to compete with them. Liverpool now, Manchester United, who are not having the greatest of seasons we know, but the amount of money that they're able to throw at it, and they will throw again next season. Chelsea, the amount of money they throw at it, although they might have a transfer ban, but the amount of money they throw at it. And then you even look at other clubs now. You know, Wolves are throwing lots of money at it. They spent way more money than we did. You know, Everton spent way more money than we did. You know what I mean? These clubs are spending lots of money. So if he can get us into the position where we're competing to win that league, I would have said that's successful for Unai Emery. Well, the next question?
Evening, lads.
Evening.
Irish Schooner. I've been an Arsenal fan ever since I saw Rocky Rocastle chip Peter Schmeichel at Old Trafford.
R.I.P. Rocky.
That was it for me. In love after that. First question is, for me, I've seen an absolutely massive, monumental improvement in the team since last season. But watching from afar, it's kind of difficult to gauge what is impressive the most. So first question I'm going to ask you is, what has impressed you the most in terms of the improvement of the team? And number two, in relation to that, looking forward to the summer as well, there seems to be a lot of dead wood around the team, the likes of El Neni, I wouldn't say Monreal is, but he's got a contract situation, Jenkinson, Mustafi, players like that. What would you do in relation to those players? Because I think if we are to get rid of them and recoup some cash, we're kind of putting ourselves under a lot of pressure in different ways to try and get players in the door.
Yeah.
Do you
want me to answer that?
Yeah, go TT.
In terms of what do I think the biggest improvement is, the work ethic of the players, how they look like they're fighting for each other, the fitness levels, just the whole feeling around the club is a lot better. The mood's better. When we go to games, we don't feel like there's going to be a punch up in the stands every 5 minutes because everything's going wrong on the pitch. Because that's how it got towards the end of Wenger's time. There was fans fighting, and it's not nice because we all want the same thing. We all have a difference of opinion, but we want the same objective, which is to watch Arsenal win trophies. So fighting with one of your own is not good, but I feel that Emery's brought that feel-good factor back. And in terms of the players, we need to get rid of those players who are not contributing. Players like Cole Jenkinson, players like El Neni, Petr Cech's going. There alone is over 200 grand a week in wages. So you talk about wages being a big thing apart from transfers, the actual fee itself. It just kind of shows that that's a big name player there. That 200 grand for those three players, Cech, El Neni, Jenkinson, that could go get you a top centre-back and put him on a big wage.
Troopz, same question to you.
I think the way we play in big games has improved a lot, especially at home. When we used to go into a big game, we'd always be worried how we're gonna set up. Like, I remember going to Liverpool, seeing 5-1s, Bayern Munich 5-1. I didn't go Chelsea 6-0, these lot did.
We saw Liverpool 5-1 this season.
We saw Liverpool 5-1 this season again, back again. But I think that was at a point when there was so many injuries and there's nothing Emery could do. But apart like that, I think the way we play in big games, like I remember going to like Old Trafford and all them stadiums and thinking we're gonna come in and get corned. We're gonna get 3-0, 4-0. But now we're going to these grounds and we're picking up points. Like, we were very unlucky to not beat Chelsea this year. We should have got 6 points off Chelsea this year. If Obama Blood Clark Young had on his right shooting boots, he could have had a hat-trick in the first 20 minutes. You understand? For me, that's the biggest improvement. What was the second question?
Who would you get rid of?
All right, here we go.
How long you got?
Exactly. Cech will go. Obviously, he's going, but this is what I do anyway. I say Cech, Lichtsteiner. Unfortunately, Monreal's got to go. I'd sell Xhaka, I'm not gonna lie. Ozil, I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50 with Mesut. Mustafi, El Neni, Jenkinson, Chambers. Who else is there? Who? I'd keep Welbeck. I think we should give Welbeck a deal because I think we've missed Welbeck. he was that guy that you bring off the bench and he was just running that man. You understand? Remember Lisbon 0-0, dead game, brought on Welbeck, 5 minutes, bang, goal, 1-0, done. We missed it because that was the thing as well at the start of the season. We had firepower on the bench if it was going wrong. So we could actually afford to put Abba on the bench and be like, chill. Now, it's like we have to go all guns blazing. Shout out the podcast. Make sure you vote for that as well in the FBAs.
You like that? I like the plug there. That's like, do you know what? You've made a good point. All those players you named, you're probably talking about 600 grand a week in wages. Take away Xhaka because he's going nowhere, all right? Just get that one right. But all those players that are literally not contributing to Arsenal and not doing anything, over £500,000. So stop worrying about Mesut Ozil's wage because there's bigger problems.
Yeah, but you're talking about loads of players, right? Remember, if you get rid of like all those players you guys have just said, you still got to replace them.
But they're not playing anyway.
Hold on. So,
yeah, that's the thing.
Monreal's playing. Xhaka's playing. Ozil's playing. If you get rid of those players, you need to bring in players as good.
I just said not Xhaka, not Ozil.
Okay, well...
Ozil, I said 50-50.
There's other players that you mentioned there. Mustafi. If you get rid of Mustafi, and I think we should get rid of Mustafi, but you're going to have to replace him. And to replace him with the type of centre-half that we all want, it's going to cost more wages than what he's on.
Yes, but what did I just say to you? In my first part, 200 grand. That can go to wages for a decent centre-back. Then he named the players.
You got rid of 3 players for that.
There's only 2 players, I think, that Troopz named that can say that they're part of the first team in terms of playing. And that's Mustafi and Monreal. Are they, you know, inexpendable? Of course they're not. We need a better left back. It's very clear that Emery has decided Kolasinac is a wing back. He can't defend. It's very clear that he feels that Monreal can defend better, but he can't attack. You need to find the middle ground.
Okay. On that question, getting rid of play. As things change, definitely. For me, it's changed for the better. Talking to Lacazette last night, he was saying to us that the training is so much better, so much harder. He was really bigging up Raul, the assistant. He was saying, Robbie, you don't know how much this guy brings to Arsenal as well. So Lacazette was talking really enthusiastically about Arsenal, how they train and how they've improved. I think we've seen that on the pitch. And the other big improvement that I've seen is tactically. We just literally used to, under the last end years of Arsene Wenger, we knew what we were going to do. We were going to go out, we'll play 4-3-3. There was a time we went 5 at the back. We were more or less playing the same formations all the times. We were very predictable, and teams, you know, were beating us easily in a lot of games. But I feel now that Unai Emery is a tactical manager. He will change things up. You see what he did against Old Trafford. I think he completely outfoxed Solskjaer on that day because Solskjaer was not expecting that. His tactics against Tottenham, you know, as well, when we beat him in the 4-2, even the away game as well. So I think tactically we've improved a lot and we are a lot fitter, like what DT said. Players to get rid of, a lot of the same players they said. I wouldn't get rid of Monreal. I think we should be adding. It shouldn't just be that we say, oh, we've got to clear out all these players to make wages on top. This is exactly what I'm moaning about with the owner. Where you then have to me, you have to start saying, I'm going to give some money so you don't have to clear out everybody. The Deadwood players like Mustafi's and, you know, guys like El Nenis and that, who they do need moving on, but we're going to have to replace them, and we need to replace them with better, and that might involve more wages. And I think like somebody like Monreal, I'd keep him, but bring in a younger left back, maybe someone like a Ryan Sessegnon from Fulham, and let him learn his trade under Monreal for 1 more year before Monreal then moves on. So
it's Sessegnon even a left back, blood, because he plays left midfield more time.
He was been playing.
Like he started off as a left back. He was
playing left back last season for Fulham very successfully, and then they, for some reason, they moved him on. And then the other players, I think, obviously Chambers, like you said, I wouldn't bring Chambers back. There's also Ospina, as well, who's out on loan as well. You know, we could sell him. So there's a lot of money that can be raised for definite, but I still want to see the owner, you know, putting his hand in his pocket as well and adding to that so that we can really bring in some world-class players to bridge that gap. What are we after? Are we after winning the league? Are we after trying to win the Champions League? Or are we just trying to balance the books? I get fed up with all this. Oh, he's on this amount of money a week and that. It's not our money, is it? We spend enough money to go to the games. I want to see my team successful. I want to see Arsenal back to where we should be, right? Leave that, you know, all this. All Arsenal fans seem to be accountants nowadays. You know, if we pay, we give
Shout out Mo.
No, but even we all do it, innit?
Yeah.
But he's on 350, and we get rid of him, then we can use that money. When you speak to City fans and Liverpool fans and Man United fans, they're just like, yeah, why don't we go and get Mbappe? Why don't we go and get Griezmann? We should be looking at Koulibaly. You speak to an Arsenal fan, they're like, well, it'd be great to get Koulibaly, but we're going to have to sell him and him and him and him and him and him and him. And then if we all whip round and then put in another 10 grand, why is that? Round. We're a big club. This is Arsenal. I go all around the world with this club, right? And everywhere. I remember in the summer when we went to Singapore, right? And Arsenal was playing out there with PSG, right? And who was it? Atletico Madrid, right? Yeah. Both of those clubs, big Champions League clubs, you would say, right now, you would say they're bigger than us, yeah? They're competing every year for the biggest prizes, yeah? When Arsenal had a training session, these guys were there. There must have been about 20,000 people there, yeah? Arsenal trained first. About 10,000 people, sorry. Arsenal trained first, yeah? When Arsenal finished their training session and PSG come in to train, it's like once all the fans left, there must have been about 100 fans left.
Not even that.
To see PSG. And then Atletico would come in to train after them. There was about another 100. We're a big club. Why are we always having to this, yeah, but it's too expensive. I want to see the best players at Arsenal. And this is what gets me with the owner. I'm just thinking to myself, do you realise how big this club is? That anywhere you go in the world, anywhere, you will find an Arsenal fan. You won't find a Tottenham fan. I was chatting to a guy the other day who sells merchandise in England, right? He sells merchandise for all the clubs. And he goes, Robbie, they're talking about Tottenham, a big club. He's an Arsenal fan, by the way. But he sells merchandises for all the football clubs in the Premier League, right? He goes, Robbie, you're talking about Tottenham, a big club. He goes, for every 50 shirts I sell 50 Arsenal shirts, I sell one Tottenham one. So why are we behaving like those clubs? We're a big club. So I want the owner to start, you know, he needs to come here and see this. See fans from Syria and all around. That's what he needs to see. This is Arsenal. This is the only clubs, other clubs in England that can do this is Manchester United and Liverpool. That could come here and, you know, have the big fan base around the world like what Arsenal have got. Not Manchester City, not Tottenham, not Chelsea even. Chelsea are emerging, but they can't do it even as big as Arsenal. So we need to start behaving like a big club. What's the next question?
Yeah. Saeed from UAE, raised in London. Just, you know, I've lived in London. I've felt the atmosphere of being an Arsenal fan around Highbury. And I've grew up, you know, watching Henry, Bergkamp, all these, Tony Adams, all these players. And thank you guys for actually, because I moved out here, after seeing AFTV, I actually feel it. When, you know, as an Arsenal fan, when you guys, you know, talk, we actually feel it from around the world. And this is really, thank you. I really appreciate that. So now, us growing up as young people, growing up watching Arsenal, and then Arsenal going through that dip in the past 10 years, for each of you, what do you feel, now we have Unai Emery that, you know, he's bringing all these, you know, the team back, and we can see the spirit, we can see you guys are happy, us being happy here with the new manager. What do you think that one missing piece, for each of you, one thing now, after Unai Emery, and bringing all these players together, and now we're going to get rid of these useless players, or deadwood, whatever you want to call it. What is the next missing piece? Is it, do we have to replace the owner, or is it some of the players? What is the missing piece to bring back the old Arsenal that we know? And another thing I would like to add to it, for me, in my opinion, is when we had Tony Adams, when he had Vieira, I felt that in each department, from the back to the defense, we had the leader. We had someone who had the bollocks to kick anyone's ass, right? So currently we don't feel that. So do you feel we need leaders in each department, or is it one thing for each, for Troopz, for DT, for Robbie? What is it missing that we need now after bringing this amazing manager?
God. If he's available, come link the man then. Yeah, understand? Nah. Probably money, to be honest. Money, man, because money rules the world now. Money rules football. And if we want to compete, we need to spend. You understand? Because this team, I think this team's only good enough to get into the top 4. I don't think this team can win a league. I think this team can win cups, like FA Cup, maybe the Europa League, but league title, no chance. And without money, that's not going to happen. Unai can only do so much. There's only so much you can do. You need help. You need resources. Kroenke, he's too busy chilling in LA. You understand? So if we could get even like 150 million for the summer, I think that would be a big step. And I think we could actually go out and maybe buy 3 decent players, top quality players. You understand? 350 million man. Put them in. I think goalie is good. I think a centre back, a midfielder, a centre midfielder, and a winger. I think we're good to go.
I think if we had Virgil van Dijk in our side, we would be challenging for the title. Honestly, look at the levels Liverpool have lifted to with just him in the side. They were always good in attack, poor in defence. They're a carbon copy of what we are now. We have the second best home record in the Premier League. Only Man City have a better one. Level with Liverpool. We score as many goals as Liverpool and Man City. More than Manchester United. More than Chelsea. Where's the weak link? Defence. You put someone in there that can lead a defence, build from the back. Everything else takes care of itself in front. We've got 2 of the best strikers in the Premier League. We've got a good midfield. We've got players that can win games. But the problem is that we're relying on those players to score 2-3 goals a game because we're going to concede 2-3 goals. But at Liverpool, literally, seriously, go look at the stats of Liverpool before Virgil van Dijk. They were conceding so many goals from so many mistakes. Crap goalkeeper, crap defenders. What did Jurgen Klopp do? Gonna go and rectify that, get my goalkeeper, get my centre-back. We don't need a goalkeeper. We got one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League, in my opinion. So if we had someone like Virgil van Dijk, he would give us an extra 10 to 15 points a season. Easy.
I think we definitely is the defensive areas where we need to strengthen. We do need a Virgil van Dijk type centre half, 100%. I still think probably, like somebody said earlier, maybe a creative midfielder, possibly, but I think we could do without that. We still need, I still think on the wings as well, we need some players, we need some reinforcements. I still think we're going to need a backup, another striker as well, if Welbeck goes as well. We need a better squad, really, if we're going to compete to win the league and go far in the Champions League. And I'd still like to see Arsenal maybe bring in, I don't know, just one, as well as a sort of Van Dijk type player, some other sort of stardust player in that team, you know, to push us forward. But squad-wise, I still think our squad could be better. You know, I know it's hard to compete with Man City because of the amount of money they got, but look at their squad. They got Mahrez on the bench, who'd walk into.
I think he's gettable, you know.
You know, so well, this is what so we need to strengthen that squad, and we need. I'm still not sure, convinced with this owner, if that can be done, because as I said, it's not just about money; it's about ambition. You know, because when you've got a burning ambition to achieve something, sometimes it's not just the money. It's your burning ambition inside that, like, it hurts you when you lose. So you want to fix it. You want to make sure that things are better. And I'm not sure if the owner, you know, I'd like to see a new owner, although unfortunately I don't think he'll go anywhere because he's making a lot of...
money.
Money, lots of it. He's doing good.
Robbie, can I just say what you just said there? The issue for me with Stan Kroenke is, does he feel what we do when we lose games?
No.
He don't even know. He don't even know we play.
Does he know when we're playing? Does he even know? I remember, who did we play when the Rams were playing their final on the same day? Who was it?
We was playing Tottenham, weren't we?
Yeah, that is arguably our biggest game of the season. Not in terms of the size of the clubs, because they will ever in my lifetime, or my children's lifetime, or in my children's lifetime, or in their children's lifetime, ever be as big as us. But if you're brought up on the history the way that we are, that is the biggest game of the season. Where was he? Parading around with his stupid wig on at the Super Bowl.
And there's there was one time a friend of mine said to me that he saw Stan Kroenke out in LA at a hotel. When's when we played Leicester the first
Leicester
game
4-3 last season when I had one leg.
Yeah, and my friend saw him, right, a couple of days after the game, right, and he went up to Stan Kroenke in a hotel and said to him, goes, "Oh, Stan, that was a great comeback the other night, wasn't it? Because if you guys remember that game, we came back to win the game."
Yeah, we was 3-1 down.
Yeah, and Stan Kroenke goes, "Oh, what's that? What's that?" And he goes, the other night, great comeback, great comeback." He goes, "Oh, what comeback?" He goes, "Against, Arsenal. I'm an Arsenal fan." It was a great. He goes, "Oh yeah." Stan Kroenke goes, "Oh yeah, great comeback. Yeah, great comeback," and took a picture of him and that, right? But my friend messaged me and said, "Robbie, it's obvious to me he didn't know what I was talking about." That was our first game of the season. Big comeback game, big win. Friday night kickoff, right? I remember against Leicester, yeah? So that's what I'm saying. And to me, listen, and he's a guy, he's got lots of business interests and he's got lots of different teams and that, and maybe you can't watch absolutely every one, but I want someone who's really, he's focused on us. And I think would be that thing that will take us that next step forward.
Look what Vince McMahon said about him. He said he should be jailed for being a fake businessman because he's a fraud, blood.
Well, he's a good businessman because he's doing very well.
Nah.
He's doing very well, isn't he? He's making a lot.
fraud.
He's making a lot of money. If it's straight business you're talking about, but we all know that football's not just about straight business.
Yeah, exactly.
Football is about, you got to have love for the club that you own or you manage or whatever. You got to have love for that. So the best owners are the one that love the club. Abramovich, whatever we want to say about him, he loves Chelsea. He's always there. He's always there at
Not
games.
at the minute, he ain't got a visa.
Well, yeah, apart from the problems he's been having with the English government, but he's always at games. He cares about that club. If the team is not performing, the manager knows he could be gone because this guy wants to win. The guy, the guys from the Manchester City, Sheikh Mansour, the guys there, they're always at the game. You always see them, they're there. They got loads of business interests around the world and they're there at the game, right? Even the Glazers at Manchester United, I see them at the games a lot, don't you? You see them there. When was the last time Stan Kroenke was at a game, an Arsenal game?
Arsene Wenger's last ever game at Emirates and he got booed.
Yeah, when they, it was really funny because that last game at the Emirates, they were sort of panning around the screen and they were, he came up on the big screen and as soon as all the fans saw him, they were like, boo! It was really funny, I mean, but, that's because he's not coming to games and showing the love for Arsenal that we all have. So
the thing is, Robbie, and this is kind of a question to everyone here as well, because I'd like to get a perspective from the fans that are from afar. If Stan Kroenke over the next couple of years carries on the same way that he's carrying on, doesn't put the money in, doesn't back the manager, we then have to change him, and it's like a cycle. Are the fans going to actually do something about it? Are they going to back... it's very easy... Well, what I'm saying is, right, it's very easy to sit there and say, I don't like him, I want him out, like what I did with Wenger. I went and done something about it. I went and got my voice heard. I went and made a stand. Whether it made a difference or not, I still went and tried and done something. Are fans willing to boycott stuff at the club? Like us in England, are we willing to boycott games? Fans abroad, are you willing to boycott sponsors? Are you willing to boycott buying shirts? You know, all these kind of things. Because we already know, right? For example, Adidas are taking over this season. The shirt sales are going to go through the roof, especially if they bring back the bruised banana kit. We know that. But if he doesn't put his money in his pocket, hand in his pocket to get the money out, and he only spends 30-40 million pound this summer, he's sitting there rubbing his hands together, laughing. Look at these monks.
No, but hold on. The thing is, right, is that would that do anything anyway? I'm not buying a shirt. He's sat home in LA.
But this is the
cares
thing.
About that.
But there you go. That is the biggest problem for simple things like that. For thinking, no, it's not going to make a difference. Because
I think
if everyone joined together,
I think it's a lot. I think it's very difficult to get rid of an owner of a club. When somebody owns a club, right? You know, even if those things, you know, the income, a lot of income stopped coming in, the value of the club is still going to be more or less be the same if the team is more or less still doing okay on the pitch. So, you know, you see Arsenal have not done well over the last few years, but the value of the club since he's taken it over has nearly tripled. So, and it's only going to affect, I think, an owner if he's there in the firing line. I'm not sure if that would really have an effect, but you know, I think we have to wait and see what Stan Kroenke does. He might surprise us all this summer. He may shock us all and really back the manager and give the manager the resources he needs. And you know, hopefully we'll all be really happily surprised by him being ambitious in the future. Let's wait and see. I think we're coming to the end now. So,
do you have one question? Because this guy's been.
All right, so we're going to take one more question.
Yeah, he's had his hand up for a while.
Yeah, we'll take one more.
Thanks for that. Paul, a Welsh gooner, been out in Dubai for the last 10 years. My question is, I mean, I've been really happy this year with Leno. I think he's been terrific. But, of course, he's been pushed a bit by Czech. Well, Czech's going next year. Who would you like to see as a, you know, at Arsenal to push him?
Number 2.
As a number 2.
DT?
I want Martinez to be given the opportunity. The problem is that we're very lucky in the sense that we've got Petr Cech with his experience to be a number 2. But he's never going to stay there. Never going to stay there. And one of the reasons why he's decided to retire is because he knows he's never going to dislodge Leno now. It's time to step down. You've done what you needed to do. Ospina was never good enough, and he was someone that didn't want to stay as a number 2. Martinez has been there for a very long time, and he's ready to fight for his place and wait his time. And since he's been on loan at Reading, I've watched him closely, and his performances have been exceptional. And I think he's had quite a few man-of-the-match performances in there as well. And he's one player that I feel that should be given that opportunity. He's always been around the club for years. And he's had to stay behind Ospina and Cech, and he's never got that chance. I feel we've got a number 1 now who could be our number 1 for the next 10 years or so. Give the lad a chance and let's see what he can do.
Yeah, I agree still. I'd give Martinez a chance because he's been there long enough. Leno's solid enough, innit? And every time Martinez has gone in for us, he's done all right. It's just that crazy game in Reading. Remember that mad game? It was 4-1 down at half time, but made the comeback. But he's done all right. Even when he went, I think he went to Wolves one season, when he was in Championship, and he was doing all right there as well. So because when you check the level, yeah, there ain't really no Don Dada number 2 out there to get. The only one I'd probably say who I rate, and I can't even believe I'm gonna fucking say this, but is Romeo at United. I think he probably is the best number 2 in the world. I have to be real. Me and Robbie were arguing saying he's Czech. I said this brother's blind blood, or he's got Czech's thing strapped on his head and there's no blood flowing to the brain. You understand? But for me, I'd probably say Martinez.
I think Czech's going to be a big miss, by the way. I think Cech is a very good number 2. he makes some. He's not great at kicking the ball out from the back. He doesn't suit what Emery's trying to do, but he's a great shot stopper, very experienced guy as well. Martinez is nowhere near that level, nowhere near. So I think maybe give Martinez a chance. The only thing that worries me with Martinez is how good is he with the ball at his feet. We've got Emery likes the team to play out from the back. He likes that patient build-up from the back, and I think the backup goalkeeper is going to need to be able to do that. And I've seen Martinez, you know, saves and stuff like that, catching the ball in the box. He's good at all that, but I've not seen enough of him playing the ball out from the back to know if he's going to suit Unai Emery's style. So that's the one thing that worries me, but give him a chance. You know, like these guys said, he's been around the club for a long time. He deserves a chance at least, you know, to see if he's going to be good enough. So I'd give Martinez a chance as well.
Me personally, I'd like to see Szczesny back.
He ain't gonna. He's at Juventus, isn't he? He's not going to come back.
That fag smoker.
You know.
The problem with Szczesny is that he's number 1 at Juventus, so he isn't going to come back to Arsenal to be a number 2. And would you replace Leno with him?
Yeah, that's do you think Leno's better than Szczesny?
I don't know. It's early days, but what I've seen so far, been really, you know, happy with Leno. Yeah. I mean, he's definitely number 1, and he's, you know, for the future, you can see another, fucking 10 years at least. But I had a close friend who was an Arsenal keeper, Tony Roberts. He was the coach there, and he rated Fabianski. I mean, actually, when Fabianski went to Swansea,
good keeper.
Tony went with him. Tony went to Swansea as well. He's at Wales now, but he said Fabianski was a brilliant.
He's having a great season at West Ham, isn't he?
Yeah.
It was just when he was at Arsenal, he couldn't catch the ball.
Flappyansky.
All right, so that's the last question. I want to say on behalf of me and the guys, I want to thank you very much for your warm hospitality tonight. Thanks for having us here in Dubai. I want to say a big mention to Khalid, who put this together. Really appreciate that.
DJ Khalid.
I want to thank the management as well of the hotel, the 5 The Palm. They've really looked after us really well since we come here.
Yes.
What a beautiful location. As an Arsenal fan, to be given a Q&A here in the Penthouse, it's been absolutely brilliant. So thank you very much to the hotel as well. It's a fantastic hotel, by the way. So thank you very much. And most importantly, thank you all the fans that came here today. I know that some of you came from very far. It's a gentleman who came from Pakistan. I'm impressed that, you know, thank you very much for that. And all the fans that came from all around, and everybody in Dubai. Is a wonderful country, wonderful place. Hope that we can come back here and do something again in the future. And let's hope that we can have a great season at Arsenal. I mean, get in that top 4, you know, and win the Europa League, get back into the Champions League. And hopefully we come back here maybe next year, round about this time, and we're doing a Q&A about how we win the league. Yeah? We'll be like, let's do a Q&A on the running and how we plot winning that league. Wouldn't that be brilliant? We're doing it next season. I agree with that guy, all right?
Yeah.
Up the Arsenal!
Red on me.
Yeah.